طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبع هداه أما بعد. That's fine أخي أبو ميمون, not a problem. الله يوفقك. نعم. Alhamdulillah. Continuing from where we were last class, we were looking at the ayat, or some of the ayat that shared or that had words that were found in lessons 21 and 22. And when we came to الدرس الثالث والعشرون, if I'm not mistaken, we looked at the numbers. Is it الثالث والعشرون? Here it is. We started looking at numbers. That was over here in the same dars, الثالث والعشرون, صحيح. And there was a chart that somebody had previously shared with us, and we shared it on the in the class for everyone to look at. We also shared it on the WhatsApp group. And there was a homework that was set to reference 10 of the ayat, or 20 of the ayat at least, or 30 of the ayat. So apart from Brother Suhaib, who sent me all 36 or 38, mashallah, referenced ayat, did anyone do that homework and send it? Because that's the purpose of these lessons. The purpose of these lessons is to give you some insights. First of all, see, if we wanted to develop your ability to speak Arabic, then the lesson would be conducted in Arabic, and you'd also be expected to speak back in whatever Arabic you had. And because of the challenges of online teaching and not being always, clearly being able to clearly describe something without the physical presence being in front of a person, we opted to focus more on understanding the language in terms of the rules of the grammar, and also on identifying vocabulary. So more reading than speaking and listening. So more reading. So therefore, in order to develop that skill, you have to read. You have to put some effort in. And the more you put in, then definitely the more you're going to get out. And if you're not putting anything in except just turning up on the Wednesday evening or Wednesday afternoon or night, wherever you might be, according to your time, or the only thing you're able to dedicate to learning Arabic is coming for this 35, 45-minute class, I have to be honest and frank, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough for you to recall and remember the rules from book 1 or the rules from book 2. And the purpose of mentioning ayat in the Qur'an is all to give you that encouragement that what you have learned, it will help you to understand what you are reading, to give you ability to contemplate, to enjoy the Qur'an more. Alhamdulillah, that's good. That's good news. Alhamdulillah. So when there's like a homework similar to the one that was given last week, where someone has put together excerpts of some ayat in the Quran that have numbers, And that's the lesson that we were looking at, which was like this one here, Thalithul Ashrun, that has numbers 20, 30, 40, and that one had extensively all the numbers, various numbers that were in the Quran. So then the homework was set for you to do it. Then it's in your best interest to take some of your schedule. I'm not going to say busy schedule, because we're all busy. Somebody once said to me that it's not that you're too busy to do something, but you just haven't prioritized certain things. Certain things have a greater priority than other things. So that's the definition of being busy in actual fact. You're busy doing things that you have prioritized. So if seeking knowledge is just a pastime, just a hobby, it's not a priority, then learning is not necessarily going to take place. Okay, so it's really important to be able to give that dedication and to spend of the time that Allah has given you. Spend of the time that Allah has given you. And that is the striving that you are expected to do. Because as Imam Muslim mentions in his Muqaddimah of Sahih Muslim, on the authority of Yahya ibn Kathir, he said, لن ينال العلم براحة الجسد. Knowledge will not be attained through relaxation of the body. It's against the sunnah of Allah on this earth that a person is going to be able to gain knowledge without having dedicated some time and sacrificed some effort and work towards fulfilling that goal. Okay, so this is meant to be not sure if you راحة الجسد لن ينال العلم براحة الجسد. Al-jasad means body. So this was I'm hoping like by now somebody would have said, yes, we've done the homework, we're going to send it, we're sharing it, we've sent it by email, or we're going to share it by email. But no one's saying that. I can only assume that it hasn't been done, except by Brother Suhaib Jazakallahu Khairan, who sent me, mashallah, a list of 38 ayat with all references. And the rest of you, inshallah, if you've done it, alhamdulillah, that's good. Fantastic. Fadl akhi Abu Bakr, fadl.
No, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Has your hand up because you did the homework? Or because you had
Yes, I did some of the homework. I didn't finish the homework, but I did some.
Allahumma lakal hamd. So that's what we're speaking about. More, all hands should be up in actual fact. In all hands should be up, saying, yes, we did the homework, at least 10 of the ayat, as was mentioned. طيب, let's keep going. بإذن الله. And here it goes directly to the next dars, which is a dars. In actual fact, the dars al-rabi' wal-ishrun is also numbers. So that would be very similar. You could just use the same chart that was given in order to contemplate over the numbers in the Quran. When there are mudaf and mudafun ilayhi, which is between 3 and 10, and when the number, the adad, is opposite of the ma'dud, the adad, which is in this case, for example, thalath, arba'u, khamsu, sittu. These are all, this is the adad, these are a'dad. And when it is between 3 and 10, then the adad, the gender of the adad is going to be the opposite of the gender of the ma'dud, that which is being counted, the object. The number is opposite. So the talibat, this is mu'annath. So the number is going to be mudhakkar. So you find examples in the Qur'an. Now that you have been given that chart, you can use that to contemplate and see which numbers follow these types of rules of mudhaf and ilayhi, and the adad being opposite to the gender of the ma'dud. And also you can look at examples of ahada ashara and ithna ashara. Both of these numbers are in the Quran. Can anyone tell me the significance of these numbers in the Quran?
Do you mean an ayah with a?
Yes. Yes.
There's a Surah Yusuf, where Yusuf alayhi salam said, إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا.
أحسنت. إني رأيت أحد عشر second of the page. أحد عشر
كوكبا.
كوكبا. Yeah, كوكبا. And here كوكب, yeah, كوكب is
stars.
Star or planet or what it might be. أيوة أحسنت أخي عاطف جزاك الله خيرا. You posted the ayah. So كوكبا, is it مذكر or مؤنث? It's مذكر. We say هذا كوكب. Yeah, ذلك كوكب. And the rules over here showed us that both parts, both sections of the number, which is ihda and ashrata, or ahada and ashra, both of them are going to be in line with the ma'dud. If the ma'dud is mudhakkar, then both sides of the number are going to be mudhakkar. So here you have, in our example, kawkab is mudhakkar. So ahada is going to be mudhakkar. It's not going to be ihda, which is the, if it was mu'annath, you say ihda, it's ahada. And you'll say ashara, you're not going to say ashrata, as in the case of taliba. Okay, so that's one thing to remember, is that both sides of the number, both parts of the number are going to be mudhakkar. If the ma'dud, the thing being counted, is mudhakkar, and both parts are going to be mu'annath, if the ma'dud is mu'annath, as in the example they've given here, ihda ashrata talibatan. طالبة. جيد. The next thing is to notice how in the numbers 3 till 10, the ma'dud, طالبات, طلاب, is in the plural form. Whereas in this case, 11, 12, and in fact, it goes all the way to 99. From 11 to 99. That is going to be in the singular form. It's going to be in the singular form. Taliban, talibatan, kawkaban, not طلابا طالبات وطالبات وكواكب. No. Okay, that's an added rule. And another thing to notice is between 3 and 10, you have the ma'dud is majroor, because it's mudaf and mudafun ilayhi. And in the case of 11 to 99, it's mansub. It's not mudafun ilayhi. And this ma'dood has a name. Does anyone remember the status of that word? What it's called? Why is it? It's mufrad, it's mansub. Mufrad, mansub. What's it called? Do you remember? Starts with that. No? Ta'mim. No? Ta'mim, ya. Still no? Tamyiz. Tamyiz. That is called tamyiz. That's singular ma'dood. The singular ma'dood. Jayid. And when we move away from 11 and 12, okay, and what was the significance of 12? Number 12, we got the significance of number 11 is the ayah in the Quran in Surah Yusuf. How about 12? Does anyone know about the 12 in the Quran?
It's Surah Tawbah.
Surah Tawbah, exactly. Ahsanta. That's one of the examples. Sorry, Abu Bakr Ilyas is quick, mashallah. Young blood. Go for it, Ilyas. Surah Tawbah, which ayah are you referring to? There's another example of Abu Bakr. You have the other example, inshallah. Let's get this example from you.
آية 36 إن عدة الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا.
أحسنت بارك الله فيك. إن عدة الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا في كتاب الله. 12 شهرا في كتاب الله يوم خلق السماوات والأرض. So this is referring to that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created 12 months in a year on the day that He created the heavens and the earth. منها أربعة حرم. 4 of them are sacred. فلا تظلموا فيهن أنفسكم. So do not wrong yourselves in any of those months, and specifically in those 4 months. So sins in the 4 sacred months are considered graver and more serious than sins done outside of those 4 months. And we happen to be in one of those sacred months right now, which is the month of Rajab. Because Prophet ﷺ said 3 of those sacred months are consecutive, which is Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, and Muharram, and one of them is alone, and he called it Rajabu Mudar, alladhi bayna Jumada wa Sha'ban. So this is the month that we in the month 7th month in the Islamic calendar is a sacred month, and sinning in that month is worse than other months. فإنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. اللهم اغفر لنا. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا. And then another example of ithna, and you notice ithna ashara shahran. The ma'dood is the word shahran, and shahr is in mudhakkar or mu'annath.
مذكر.
It is. You don't say هذه شهرا شهر, you say هذا شهر. جيد. So because it's mudhakkar, also the 2 parts of the number 12, ithna ashara, are both mudhakkar. Not as the example over here, ithna ashara taliban, not ithnata ashrata talibatan. But there's another example in the Quran with number 12. Abu Bakr is going to give it to us, inshallah.
بسم الله. فانفجرت منه 12 Aina.
Ahsant, barakallahu feek. This is the story of Musa alayhi salam when he was being chased by Fir'aun and his people. And Musa alayhi salam, the believers, they were commanded by Allah to flee towards the sea. And then Allah Ta'ala commanded Musa alayhi salam to strike the bank or the end of the sea, the shore, with his staff or with his stick. And oh no, subhanallah al-azim. That's the third example. In actual fact, the example that Brother Abu Bakr gave us was when the Bani Israel needed water. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Musa alayhi salam to strike the rock. And 12 different springs burst forth. Each tribe from Bani Israel, they knew which of the springs to drink from, so that it wasn't going to create and cause unnecessary overcrowding. So that one there, إثنتا عشرة عينا إثنتا فانفجرت. Another ayah, فانبجست. Is that right, Akhi Abu Bakr?
Yes, it is.
إثنتا عشرة عينا. And then somebody might ask, why is Ain Mu'annath? Well, that's how the Arabs refer to it. They refer to the Ain. And the Ain, in actual fact, has more than one meaning. The eye, on your body part, the eye, we already know that this is Mu'annath because of what we learned in book 1. That every body part which has a pair, which is two of, this is referred to in the Mu'annath form. And Ain also means a spring of water. A spring of water is also known as Ain. So Musa alayhi salam, he struck the rock and 12 different springs burst forth. And also the story of Musa alayhi salam when he struck the end of the side of the sea is mentioned. If I'm not mistaken, is there an ayah in the Quran to that effect, or is it from the Sunnah that 12 different paths were made clear to Bani Israel, and each of them went according to their tribe? Is that accurate, Akhi Abu Bakr, or anyone else?
It sounds correct. I'm trying to think which ayat it is.
So then we keep going, inshallah, and then we can see that from 11, it's from 13 to 19, regardless of the i'rab, if it's majroor, if it's mansoob, if it's going to be marfu', regardless, both parts of the number are fixed with a fatha. 14, 15. You don't say zurtu, I visited. No, sorry, you don't say dhahabtu ma'a 15 طالبا, because ma'a is harful jar. You don't say I went with, and you say ma'a, and the next word is majroor. No. ذهبت مع 15 طالبا. I went with 15 students. No. Afwan Akhi Abu Hassan, your question about all 4 of the sacred months, Allah Ta'ala says, فَلَا تَظْلِمُوهُنْ فِيهِنَّ وَلَا تَظْلِمُوا فِيهِنَّ أَنفُسَكُمْ. It's referring to all, and some of the Mufassirun said that this فِيهِنَّ, that dhamir, refers to all 12 months. No. Jayed. So then that was the reason why they mentioned these numbers separately, to show you that they are mabniyun ala al-juz'ain. Both parts of the number are mabni on a fatha, but the second thing is to show that ma'dud, talibatan or taliban, if it is mudhakkar, then the first juz is going to be mu'annath. The first part of the number is going to be the opposite. And the second part is going to be in line with it. Sittata is mu'annath. Ashara is mudhakkar. Taliban is mudhakkar. So it's mu'annath, mu'annath, is it mu'annath, then mudhakkar, and then mudhakkar. As for when the ma'dud is mu'annath, when the ma'dud, the thing being counted, is mu'annath, meaning it's feminine, in that case, because the first part of the numbers from 13 to 19, the first part is going to be the opposite. So you say arba'a. That is mudhakkar because the ma'dud is mu'annath, so it's opposite. Arba'a, not arba'ata. Arba'a. Ashrata, ta marbuta, shows that it's mu'annath. Talibatan. Arba'a ashrata talibatan. Showing you again that it's going to be the opposite, and then the same, and then the same. Opposite gender, then the same gender to that of the ma'dud. And again, we don't need to ponder a lot on this anymore because we did the numbers last week and the examples are all there in that chart, which I would implore you all to go back to. Look at every single ayah. The homework has now increased from 10 of the ayat to every single ayah on that chart. Read it, find the example of the number, and then reference the ayah. Find the example of the number and look at the rule being implemented. Look at the rule so you can understand it and then reference it. And email that, inshallah, to Markaz Athari email. If you can possibly share the email for us, Muzammil. Let's go to Ad-Dars
Yes, sure, inshallah.
Let's go to Ad-Dars al-Khamis wal-Ishrun. Ad-Dars al-Khamis wal-Ishrun is a very, very nice lesson. What was being introduced over here was La yazalu. La yazalu. This was one of the main things that was being introduced. And La yazalu, this has an equivalent. This has an equivalent in Arabic. It is from the sisters of what?
There
you are.
أخوات كان.
أحسنت يا إلياس, الله بارك فيك. It is from the akhawat kana, from the sisters, it is known as the sisters of kana. What does that mean, sisters of kana? Basically, there are some verbs or some words that they follow the same rule. They follow the same rule. So kana is a word which is known as fi'l naqis. It enters upon a mubtada and changes it to ism kana. It enters upon the khabar and it changes it to khabaru kana. And what is the i'rab of ismu kana and khabaru kana? Anyone tell us?
I think ismu kana is marfu'.
Barakallahu feek. وخبر kana?
Mansub.
Ahsant, and we have so many examples in Surah Al-Fath, if I'm not mistaken, where none of the ayat, they finish with وَكَانَ اللَّهُ. Can you think of some of those ayat? وَكَانَ اللَّهُ.
قويا عزيزا.
At the beginning, there is Aliman Azizan.
It's Aliman Hakima.
Again?
It's Aliman Hakima.
أيوة أحسنت Aliman Hakiman. And then on the same page, slightly lower, it is Azizan Hakima. Sahih?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then the next page or the page after is وَكَانَ اللَّهُ
على كل شيء قدير.
Is it Qadira? I don't think it is.
Yes.
I was referring to غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. Okay, so here كان, that is your fi'l naqis. Sorry about the writing. And then lafdhul jalala is marfu' and it's called ismu kana. And ghafuran, this is khabaru kana and it is mansub. And Allahu ghafuran. And the other example of the ayah, وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلِيمًا حَكِيمًا. Another ayah, وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَزِيزًا حَكِيمًا. So after the ism kana is going to be marfu'. Now why is that significant in this lesson? Because in this lesson, la yazalu was introduced. As well as kana, is it? So we have the example of kana there. So can you find any examples of the Quran, in the Quran, of kana, please? So la yazalu was something in this lesson. But also it seems like kana was this is the first. I was under the impression that kana had already been introduced in a previous lesson. So just now we said ismu kana is marfu' and the khabaru kana is mansub. So what's this? Kana mudarrisan and kana waziran. Can someone explain that? Is it breaking the rule? Kana shurtiyan. Is this breaking the rule? You're going to say something. Go ahead, Akhi. You don't need to ask. With your hand, just go for it. Was your hand up from before?
Yeah, it's for the ayah I said, وَكَانَ اللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرًا.
وَكَانَ اللَّهُ
بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرًا.
بَصِيرًا. أحسنت. بارك الله فيك.
And here is kana wadira is khabar. That's why it comes kana before.
So where's the khabar?
Kana mudarrisan.
Which part is the khabar?
Min qabl before.
No, where's the khabar? You said kana mudarrisan. That can't all be the khabar. Where's the khabar?
Well, to my understanding, he was mudarris.
Yeah, mudarrisan. That's the khabar. So then where's the ism?
It's hidden in mudarris?
It's hidden in kana.
Oh, okay.
أحسنت أخي جزاك الله خير. You got the right, exactly, you got the right idea.
Jazakallah.
The ism is hidden in kana. Kana huwa ضمير مستتر. هو kana meaning kana huwa مدرسا, and that huwa there is اسم kana.
I like what they've been interactive.
نعم. Your mic is left on Akhi Abu Hazan and your hand is up. So what is it for this time? Abu Hazan, your hand's going down like a khair.
Sorry.
جيد لا بأس. طيب, can you post examples from the Quran of kana and ismu kana and khabaru kana? Okay, if we search on our Al-Ma'ani app, which I have to admit is not the best app in the world. I'm sure there's so many better than this. But this
وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمًا.
وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. غَفُورٌ.
غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا.
غَفُورًا, yes.
وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا.
Now that's in Surah Fatih, isn't it? And maybe others as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's correct. But it's in many surahs, I think.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, this Surah Al-Baqarah, very beautiful ayah. قل من كان عدوا لجبريل فإنه نزله على قلبك بإذن الله مصدقا لما بين يديه وهدى وبشرى للمؤمنين. Whoever takes Jibreel as an enemy, من كان, whoever was, عدوا خبر كان. He is the one who brought this Quran and placed it into your heart by the permission of Allah. And then the brother gave us the reference of Surah Al-Furqan, ayah 70, which I can rush to with this chart, this drop-down menu, and it says here, إِلَّا مَنْ تَابَ وَآمَنَ وَعَمِلَ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا فَأُولَٰئِكَ يُبَدِّلُ اللَّهُ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ حَسَنَاتٍ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. أحسنت. وكان الله. So here لفظ الجلالة is اسم كان and it is مرفوع. The other one is خبر كان and it is منصوب. جيد. Any more examples of كان? طيب. We also have أيوة.
I thought لا يزال.
نعم. We also have in this درس لا يزال. لا يزال. And لا يزال is from the أخوات of كان. And the ayah that was just mentioned by Ilyas, لا يزال بنيانهم الذي بنوا ريبة. So بنيانهم, this is اسم لا يزال. And ريبة, this is خبر لا يزال. أحسنت أخي بارك الله فيك. And basically, لا يزال, if you remember, it means still. Up till now, up till this point, it remains. No. The translation mentioned here, their building which they built, this is referring to the Al-Masjid al-Dirar, that masjid that was built by the Munafiqun in order to try to create a split amongst the Muslims. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the Prophet to destroy that masjid, to destroy that building. Here Allah Ta'ala said, لا يزال بنيانهم, their building, that building that they built, الذي بنوا, which they built, لا يزال, will not cease, it remains, ريبة في قلوبهم, cause of skepticism in their hearts. إلا أن تقطع قلوبهم والله عليم حكيم. Until their hearts are stopped, and Allah is والله عليم حكيم. جيد. Are there any other examples of لا يزال in the Quran? We can keep going, inshallah. If you see any words that you want to check that are in the Quran from the vocabulary in this lesson, then you are able to do that. So, for example, you have this word here, al-marda, which comes from al-marid. Now, تفضل أخي.
لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الدين ظاهرين.
That's a hadith, right? That's the hadith of the Prophet.
Yes.
لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق ظاهرين. ظاهرين, this is going to be خبر لا يزال. It's منصوب وعلامة نصبه الياء. Well done. جزاك الله خيرا. Now, do you have this word al-marda? Is it in the Quran? How about the word? How about any other words? Search for mughlaqatun. Might find these words. Okay, another thing that was mentioned in this lesson, apart from the vocabulary, another thing that was found, that was focused on in this lesson, is the words akhun, the words, see, we chose not to use text because it comes out too small. The words akhun and abun, and how these words, when they become mudaf, then you add a wow in front of them to make it marfu. So you say, for example, Ana, I am your brother. Akhuka. Ana akhuka. I'm your brother. Or that might sound a bit strange. I'm your brother. Like, you know, you didn't. Ana akhuhu, I'm his brother, you might say. But yeah, it's possible to say Ana akhuka. Fadal akhi Abu Bakr.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm sorry, I have to leave. Huh? I have to leave the lesson.
أيوة أحسنت جزاك الله خيرا.
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Excellent. تفضل أخي عاطف. You had your microphone on. Go for it.
Assalamu alaikum.
نعم أخي وعليكم السلام. Go for it. Brothers, when you take the mic, you don't have to say salam. Just go for it, inshallah. Atif,
Yes, yes.
did you open the mic for a reason?
No, no.
Okay. So when you take the mic, your name comes to the top of the list. So I expect that you're going to say something. Hence, I called on you. I thought you were going to add some benefit or say something there. Apart from salam. طيب أنا أخوك أنا أخوه أنا أخو محمد. أيوه صادق ما شاء الله, didn't notice you were here. أحسن الله إليك. Where are you? Didn't give you the mic. And also the brothers that didn't get the mic. Numair and Thaqib. Didn't realize that you guys were here.
حياكم الله شيخنا بارك الله فيكم.
جيد. So the ayah. So the word akhun, and when it's mudaf, it becomes akhu with the waw. And when it is mansoob or majroor, it comes with a ya. And the same comes for the word ab. Okay. Ana. Let's use a better example this time and say Ana abuhu. Ana abuhu. I'm his father. You can also say, for example, Ra'aytu Ra'aytu abaka. I saw your father. Ra'aytu abaka. Because mansoob with the word akhu and akhun and abun, when they are mudaf, then they are mansoob with alif. Akhaka, abaka. Okay. Now we want to find examples in the Quran of the word akh and the word ab in any position of Arab. And there are so many. Well, I'm not sure about so many, but there are examples. For example, the Musa alayhi salam and his brother Harun, Ibrahim alayhi salam and his father. These are two examples that come to my mind. And maybe there are other examples. So you can have a search for that, inshallah, although ideally you should be searching ahead of time before the class so that your ayat are ready. So that we don't sit tapping fingers waiting for people to give contributions. We come with them at the same time. So we're looking for words in the Quran that have examples of with akh. In the meantime, we can also search over here. Let's go for akh. And let's see what comes. Few examples. Okay, from Surah Al-Nisa, hey, Surah Al-Baqarah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم القصاص في القتلى الحر بالحر والعبد بالعبد والأنثى بالأنثى فمن عفي له من أخيه من حرف الجر. Whoever has been forgiven, pardoned by his brother. فمن عفي له من أخيه شيء فاتباع بالمعروف وأداء إليه بإحسان. So here's an example of أخيه. جيد. Another example, Ilyas says Surah Taha, Ayah 30. In the meantime, we can look at this.
Surah Abasa. Ayah 34.
Yeah, okay. That's a good one. We can get to, inshallah. Can you read the ayah for us?
يوم يفر المرء من أخيه.
أحسنت. يوم يفر المرء من أخيه. The day that a person will flee from his brother. يوم القيامة. جيد. And here you have أخاهم وإلى عاد أخاهم هودا. So why is it mansub? There is a fi'l which is not mentioned, which is assumed, which means arsalna, which is arsalna. Ila Adin, to the people of Ad we sent, akhahum, their brother, Hudan, their brother Hud. So akha is mansub, because it's maf'ulun bihi, and the alamatul nasb is the alif. Can you see that? Jayid. Now I've got this open, we can check Surah Taha. Surah Taha is going to be around here somewhere, or am I missing it? No, before that, sorry. There it is. Ayah 30. And it is. There you are. So this is a good example. Akhi, it doesn't actually fit our example fully because that ya over there, is it the ya of i'rab or is it the ya al mutakallim? Yeah, that you're going to learn that inshallah in book 3. There's a lesson very early in the book speaking about that ya over there. But yeah, so the other examples we've seen so far were clearer. And here's the example, Surah Al-An'am, Ayah 74. Na'am. Which is the one mentioned by Mashallah Ilyas again in the notes. Says, Allah Ta'ala said, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ لِأَبِيهِ, to his father. You see? So these rules that you're learning in Madeenah Book 1, Madeenah Book 2, the words that you're learning, they're in the Qur'an. They open your eyes to the words of the Qur'an. And that helps us to understand the basic, it's no longer a foreign language, it's a language that you understand, then you want to read more about the tafsir of the ayah to understand it fully. It gives you an indication as to the meaning. Barakallahu fikum. We also have kana being used in different sentences. Kanat, for example, with mu'annath, we checked kana, or we didn't check kanat, I don't think. So let's see what comes up with kanat. Okay, in the wrong page. We need to be. We need to be here. Kalimat al-Qur'an. And over here it will say kanat. There you go. Surah An-Nisa, this is a question that often comes up, which is about the inheritance. And many of those rules, most of them are mentioned at the beginning of Surah An-Nisa. وَإِن كَانَتْ وَاحِدَةً فَلَهَا النِّصْفُ. If there's only one daughter and she has no brothers, and her father died, or her mother died, then she takes half. If she's the only daughter, the only child, and it's a girl. فَلَهَا النِّصْفُ. كَانَتْ, that's your fi'l. And the hiya is the damir mustatir, which is ismu kana, in the fi mahalli rafa, and wahidatan is khabaru kana. جيد. And other examples are here. فلولا كانت قرية آمنت فنفعها إيمانها إلا قوم يونس. So that's not a simple one to explain. Oh, subhanallah, look at this one here. يا أخت هارون ما كان أبوك. Here we have both of our, more than one rule over here together. ما كان أبوك, your father was not. أبوك, your father. ما كان was, ما not, ما كان was not. امرأة سوء. امرأة مضاف منصوب. Why is it منصوب? Why is it got fatha on it? Why is it منصوب?
خبر كان
خبر كان.
خبر كان. بارك الله فيك. خبر كان. ما كان أبوك امرأة سوء. Why only one fatha, not two?
مضاف. It's مضاف.
أيوة أحسنت. It's مضاف. And then where's مضاف إليه?
So in.
So in. I can't see that. Oh, there you are. Mike is أحسنت أخي صادق. بارك الله فيك. جيد. وما كانت. We have both kana and we have kana in the same ayah. وما كانت أمك بغيا. أمك أم. This is اسم كانت, and بغيا is خبر كانت. بارك الله فيكم. I think that's it for this class. We've done لا يزال, we did kana, we did أبوك and أخوك. Here's Ab, and there's Akh. Looked at that in the Quran as well. So this question says, what is the best opinion? أخت هارون. أخت هارون. I'm not sure if I've got the question, understood the question. In any case, La Adri is the only answer I can give you right now. But do write the question again if you don't mind, and so I can understand it clearer. Because it's like maybe because you got Arabic in the middle of the sentence, it's changed the order of the words or something. We'll stop there bi'idhnillahi ta'ala and continue next week, inshallah. Okay, which Harun is it? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. And if I'm able to check it and get the answer, I will, inshallah. Wallahu a'lam. جزاكم الله خيرا والله اعلم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
الله يبارك فيكم وجزاكم.
جزاك الله خير أستاذ.